Today, I'm going to give you a snapshot of my net worth. I'm going to reveal my exact numbers to you of everything that I own, all of my assets. And I'm planning to do this once a month so I can keep myself accountable to my goals and also share something which might help you as well. Welcome to Freedom Kitty. My name is Catherine and my goal is to retire within the next 6 years. I want to retire early at aged 53. I'm currently 46 years old. My plans are extremely ambitious. Most of my subscribers don't think it's possible, but I need to stay optimistic. And I've done a separate video on how I plan to do it with my exact numbers. But today we're focusing on my net worth. And I just wanted to say a quick thank you to all of the people who have subscribed to my new channel, who like my videos, who comment and leave helpful suggestions on my videos. Your wealth of knowledge is massively helping me, so don't stop. My aim is to reply to every single comment. So if I haven't replied yet, I will get to it. At the end of this video, I'm going to share some of my goals for next month and some of my plans around what type of videos I'm going to be sharing on a regular basis on this channel. So let's dive into the numbers. So here is my net worth tracker, and I'm going to show you last month's net worth, which was December 2025. So this net worth tracker has several different sections. It's got an investment section, a valuable liabilities section. Valuable liabilities are things that cost you money, but they are, or they could be an asset if you sold them. So they're valuable, they're worth money, but they cost you money. They're not making you income. And then we've got cash and planned spending here, which includes the sinking funds. Then we've got debt, money you owe. Then we've got our summaries at the bottom. So I will walk you through what I've got in there for December. So in December, I don't have very much money in my investments at the moment because I've only just started them very recently. I started my stocks and shares ISA in October by putting £500 in. Then I've transferred £100 every month into my ISA. Into my stocks and shares ISA. Then I've got my SIP, which I started with £100, and because this gets topped up with the tax relief, that's why it went to immediately £125. So every month I've been topping that up with another £100 there. I don't have a GIA, a general investment account, and I've only just started a work-based pension, my very first work pension. They did say in my December pay slip that they had transferred money into my pension, but it didn't actually go in there until January. So I couldn't log that in December, and it was a very tiny amount as well. So in December, my total investments were only £1,186. And these went up by £222.85. So I only transferred £200 in, but it went up by an extra £22.85 due to the tax relief and the growth. And if I was to take 4% of my investments right now, I would be able to take £47 a month. Not very much. Nothing groundbreaking at the moment. But when we move on to the valuable liabilities, this is where the money is really sitting in here. So the only valuable liability that I have is a share of the marital home that I'm currently living in and trying to sell. I estimate that the house is worth £350,000, but I might have to drop it, so who knows. I've put the mortgage down at £202,000, although this isn't technically all mortgage because some of this money is owed to my ex as well, but just for ease, I've put it down as all the mortgage, and then that leaves equity for me at £148,000. So when the house finally does sell, I'm going to take £80,000 out of this and put it into my investment, so that's going to bump that up dramatically, and the rest of it I'm going to use as money towards a much cheaper house and also take a mortgage. So as soon as the house sells, there'll be a big shift in my investments, hopefully. Next we move on to the cash and planned spending section. At the end of December or the beginning of January, I had in my current account £1,200. In my high interest, easy access saving account, I've got £4,433. I've also got a help to save account because when I was on benefits, I opened this up and I've been transferring £50 a month into here. And they increase your bonus by 50% of what you've got. So that's a pretty good savings rate, but there is a maximum that you can transfer of £50 into that per month. And I think it maxes out after a couple of years. I've got £100 in premium bonds, only £100, I don't get any interest in this, and I think I'll leave it at £100. And the reason why I've got £100 in premium bonds is because I like to have a little bit of access for luck in my life. So if life wants to gift me a big win on premium bonds, then I don't want to deny life. I'm not going to waste my money on the lottery, but to me this is like a lottery that gives you a chance of winning, that you don't lose your money. And out of these savings, I've got £772 currently allocated to my sinking fund, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. So this is not extra money, that's just an allocation, that it's allocated for planned spending in the future. Planned spending is things like saving up for car expenses mainly, but also Christmas and birthdays and that kind of thing. The next pot of money that I have is my savings in my business account. My business used to make a lot of money, and I always used to have about £10,000 in a cash buffer in my business account. I had very high expenses, so I needed a big buffer. But now my expenses are so much lower, I feel like I'm going to start drip feeding this out very slowly and very gradually, because it's not really doing anything. It's not really making me very much money in my business account because my savings rate isn't very good at all. And I'm also going to do a separate video on my business income and expenditure. So if you add up all of my personal savings, I've got £6,308 in personal savings. But out of that, because 772 is allocated to future spending, my emergency fund is only £5,536. My emergency fund is only £5,536. Ideally, I want to get this up to at least 10,000, and when I own a house, I really want to get this up to probably about 20,000. So that means all of my accessible money, if I really needed some money, is £14,522. So that's gone up by £707, which is pretty nice because last month I took a massive hit while I was waiting for my new job to start. The next section is money you owe. I've got no car loan. I bought the car outright and I'm saving for a new one, well, a second-hand car that I will buy outright. I've got no student loan and no credit card debt and no other debt. Thankfully, I'm so thankful for this because earlier on in my life I did have a lot of debt. Recently, I have been using credit cards and paying them off in full every single month, but I decided to get a better grip of my money to even stop doing this, so I don't have any credit card debt at all. Now we move on to the net worth summary. So the total investment, £1,186. My valuable liabilities, of which will be mine, will be 148,000. My emergency fund, 5,536. My business savings, 8,213. So the total things that I own is £162,936. And because I don't owe any debt, because the debt would get taken off that, my total net worth is 162 grand, which is a pretty nice feeling, but I would prefer most of that to be in investments rather than stuck in bricks and mortar. So the change from last month is it's gone up by £611, which is pretty nice, but last month it went down by £1,164 before my job started, so I haven't even put all that back into my savings again because my savings did take a bit of a hit last month. They went down from 5,100 to 4,500, but hopefully this month I will claw some of that back again. The last row is the change from last year, but because there hasn't been a last year to compare it to, because I've just recently started it, we won't see that until October. So what did you think of my net worth and my net worth tracker? Please leave any useful comments down below. I really value your opinion. Lots of people have been asking for copies of my spreadsheets. And because so many people are asking, I am going to start selling them. I'll start with a very, very low amount so that people can test them, give me feedback, and I can improve them. And once they're improved, then I can raise my prices. So that's one of my goals, is to get these up for sale. So stay tuned and I'll let you know when that happens. Or leave me a comment below and I'll reply directly to you. So as we're currently in January 2026, and my retirement plan had me investing £600 a month. But that plan only really worked after I moved house, because at the moment I'm paying half the mortgage of £750, and when I move that will be a lot lower, freeing up a lot more cash. So for now, what I think I'll do to stay on track is to transfer a little bit of money from my business savings into my personal account, and from there transfer it into investments. And I am aware that I can transfer the money directly from my limited company straight to my pension, but the reason why I'm not choosing to do this is a bit technical. But basically, if I take out the money from my business, and I can take it out tax-free because of the way my business is set up, and if I put it into my SIPP from there, I get my tax relief. But if I transfer it directly from my business into my pension, I don't get the tax relief. So I get slightly more money by doing it this way. Another goal of mine is to develop yet another spreadsheet. I want to track my investments. I want to track what percentage they've risen and fallen by each month, and how many units I have. And then I'll share that on a regular basis. And my plans for this channel going forward are, at the moment I've been doing 1 video a week, but I would really like to increase that to 2 videos a week. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to share 4 financial update videos per month, 1 per week. And those will be the net worth tracker, my income and expenses tracker, my regular finance tracker, my business finances or my side hustle finances, and tracking my investments going forward. So an investment tracker. And then alongside those, I plan to do some general information, some updates, some mindset videos on my financial mindset, how I save money, how I enjoy my life on a budget, that kind of thing. So some of it will be very technical and some will be very personal. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your support so far. I'm being blown away by the increase and growth of this channel so far. Thank you so much for your support and your community. Let's make 2026 an amazing one. Let me know in the comments below, have you ever tracked your net worth? And if you have, what were you surprised by? Have an amazing week.